So this is Sat Summary, an application I've been working on to evaluate the health of Bitcoin and the Bitcoin network instead of using price because price is a really bad metric. Um, Today is the 31st of May 2025, 7 minutes past 8 o'clock. Currently, the hash rate is over 1,000 exahashes per second, which is phenomenal. If we check it out here, you can see it doing very well in the last 6 months. Um, Currently 22,000 active nodes across the world. There's a decentralization score of 0.0085, which essentially is 0 is completely decentralized and 1 is centralized, so that's quite a decent score right now. The mining decentralization uses the Nakamoto coefficient, which is currently 2, which is pretty bad, pretty centralized in the mining department. That means the two biggest mining pools essentially they have 51% of the hash rate, which is not good. We should be getting this up to at least 3 or 4, I think. Mining difficulty 126, 100,000 terahash. Block time 10 minutes, pretty stable. Currently there is fee to reward ratio of 0.016 to 1, which is about just over, it's 1.6%, which is okay. It should be ideally be a lot higher. Network uptime 99.99%, which is pretty great. The dominance is which is the Bitcoin versus all other cryptocurrencies 61%. We'd like that above 65 and then obviously above 70 ideally. The current circulating supply is 19,800,000 out of the 21 million, which is 94% of the way there. So it seems close, but that's still 100 years away to get to that point. And then I've calculated the actual supply, actual circulating supply, which is about 12.5 million. This is minus Satoshi's coins, minus MSTR, minus lost coins, minus hodlers, for example. It's a very rough calculation, but I'll be adjusting this with time. The cycle we're in is the fifth cycle out of 33 cycles. 15% of the way through the halving cycles. Next one is in what, 3 years. And then for the price, we've got current price 104,000. It's obviously doing pretty well. The high was, over a week ago, 111,800, just off 112, which is very good, obviously for stuff. The recent 24-hour change down 0.27%. It's up nearly 8% in the month, and it's up over 55% in the year. Current market cap, $2.08 trillion. The crypto rank number one, obviously, out of 17,000 total cryptos. Can't see that ever changing. Bitcoin's current asset rank is number 7 out of 10, so that's against gold, against companies, against funds, which is pretty good. I think it peaked around 5 recently. The current fear greed score is exactly 50 out of 100, which is clean neutral, which is probably to do with the recent price dip. Very small dip, but people get scared easily. Um, and then they've done some calculations for the sats. Currently one sat is 0.001 cent or dollar. $1 buys you 956 sats. And then using the actual supply, I've calculated how much the maximum each person could get if it was divided out equally. It'd be 152,000 sats per person, not Bitcoin sats, which is $159 each, which is very, very achievable. And then in terms of this week in Bitcoin, recently at the 2025 conference, Michael Saylor was asked about Strategy's proof of reserves because they hold 550,000 Bitcoin, the most of anyone, and they still haven't given proof of reserves. It's just trust in him basically. Um, he refused to show proof of reserves due to security risks or reasons, despite many other companies showing their proof of reserves. I'm quite torn on whether this is a good or bad thing, but I suppose it's his decision. And then in contrast to that, Jack Mallers commits commits to show his proof of reserves for his new company, 21 Capital, which will start with over 42,000 Bitcoin, making him the third largest corporate treasury in the world. Um, at the 2025 conference, Nigel Farage was actually there, surprisingly, endorsing Bitcoin. Big surprise with the UK Party Reform. He also plans to cut capital gains tax to 10% and establish a Bitcoin reserve with the Bank of England. There was also a lot of shitcoin content at Bitcoin 2025, which I wasn't happy about and really surprised me about wrap Bitcoin and different shitcoins and stuff. Don't see why that was there. There was heavy political support for Bitcoin at the conference, with the two Trump sons endorsing Bitcoin and giving price predictions, which is extremely bullish. Also, the Trump Media and Technology Group Corporation raised 2.3 billion to establish their own treasury reserve of Bitcoin. JD Vance was endorsing Bitcoin. Vivek Ramaswamy was endorsing Bitcoin. Senator Lummis was pushing for a strategic Bitcoin reserve, which we have, potentially funded by seized assets, which potentially be seized shitcoins that are useless. Might as well put them into the reserve, or using budget neutral methods, which is a big deal. Pakistan also announced plans for strategic Bitcoin reserve, which is big news. A lot of countries getting involved. Panama City mayor announces Bitcoin reserve and possible skipping of queues for ships paying in Bitcoin, which is massive. That's pretty massive for the Bitcoin payment system and transactions. BlackRock achieves record BTC ETF inflows this month. Gold was down, I believe. GameStop bought 500 million a couple of days ago of Bitcoin, whilst they still have 5.5 billion in cash, which their stock didn't really react very well to that. Metaplanet plans to buy another 50 million Bitcoin and currently hold over 850 million Bitcoin worth of Bitcoin, which is pretty big. They're pretty much copying the strategy game plan. So yeah.